No, I just wait until the air clear. But yeah, listen, Roland Martin is right. The regarding the generations who don't do politics. That's really the baby boomers' fault, or that generation, that first generation back in the late '60s and early '70s that began to take political power in their local cities. They got in power, didn't cultivate another generation to come up behind them, and on top of that, crack came in and caused a civil war in the black community. So there was a gap there, and there was no politicians developed to replace the that first generations in the '70s to come in. So as time moves on, black men have moved away from doing politics, and black women moved up. When they moved up, they started tinkering with the laws and city codes to their favor. And that's how we get all these judges on the bench who will favor more women than men. That's how we get all these laws regarding child support, because the bread and butter politicians are voters, and the voters were women. Men got separated from it because they started catching all these felonies. These were black men, and they just kind of move away. Now, saying all that, if what we need to do or learn how to do is do politics to change things, being a sacrificial lamb or standing on principles that can put you locked up is a foolhardy act that gets you nowhere. You don't win doing that. You do 30 days in jail, you're going to lose everything. Who wants to go start in life at middle age to rebuild yourself again? That's foolish. You need to go learn. We black men need to learn how to do politics, how to find your own candidates, how to put them in power positions, and how to have them tinker with laws in your favor or more balance to get this equilibrium between child support and parenting.
I have a question.
Yeah, here's the part about that. You know what's foolish? Is that all of that is all good and dandy. But the reason why you have civil rights is because you did what? Fuck with the system. No man ever got power from begging.
Nope.
Ever.
See,
here's the hold on, though, man. See, here's the fallacy and all that. That go along to get along put us in servitude after slavery for another 100 fucking years.
Yes, it did.
Most certainly.
When you started burning cities down, that's when motherfuckers said, you know, that civil rights shit ain't that bad.
Kerner Commission.
Mm-hmm.
The more docile you became, the more shit they pulled.
And continue to pull.
And here's the fucking fraudulent part about it. Child support is not an indicator of being a good father.
It is not.
It's not. It's not.
But yet, if they really wanted to, and by the way, a lot of these so-called politicians that black men supported were the first motherfuckers to stab us in the fucking back.
Can you say that again for those of us in the cheap seats at Old Chicago
Stadium?
Stadium?
Congressional black joke.
Because here's the fucked up part. How long have some of these politicians in the black caucus have been around and knowingly how much the destruction of the black family was put upon us when it came to draconian laws, when it came to child custody and child support? You've been raking black men over the coals, and all these black politicians said what? Nothing. You've been putting black men in jail for what? Black boys can't even get an education, and what the fuck did they say?
Nothing.
Nothing.
School to prison pipeline, anybody?
You allow black boys and men to be the sacrificial lambs
for many years.
And you're even your women. The same motherfuckers raised in these same fucking homes.
Mm-hmm.
how the fuck your daughter get a college degree and your boy can't read? So
Mine's
if
one.
you keep doing the same damn thing, expecting a different result, what is that called?
Insanity.
So we are insane to go by, well, we need to educate these people. No, you need to do something totally different, fucking different.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because we're not even at a stalemate.
And never will be, given what's going on right now.
Excuse me,
So
Charles.
all that good shit that was just spoken about, dismiss me with that. Because if
Excuse me.
black men said in unison,
Let him finish.
I'd
man.
rather do 30 fucking days. You enslaved me for 400.
Mm-hmm.
You put me for Jim Crow for another 100. You gave me 10 years of the crack epidemic. You gave me 15 years of the war on crime and drugs. You fucked me over for 5 years with the housing crisis. What the fuck else can you do to me? What literal consequence are you to me? You literally gave me, I was not property 150 years ago. Cattle had more of a vote than you.
Find the lie.
So what, in any logical sense, if men say, fuck this shit, we rather do the time, what power would the United States government hold?
None. None.
Because if men don't believe in the system, what happens to the system, Marcus?
It falls apart. Sorry.
Why fight a system with conventional means when you know it's too overpowering? What do you have if it's too overpowering and you cannot use conventional means? What do you have to do, Charles?
Guerrilla.
You fight unconventionally. You fight asymmetrically.
Yeah, that's guerrilla warfare.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm hearing a
Had to clear.
Palestinian argument, meaning
Palestinian argument, really?
Whoa.
No, hear him out.
You heard what?
Hear him
No,
out.
okay.
Listen.
Let
Yeah.
him finish. Let him finish. Go ahead.
that is the type of conversation Palestinians have against Israel. Well, we're going to fight them to the end, no matter what the cost is. And where have that gotten them? Where's that gotten them?
It got them noticed.
Exactly.
Okay, and they got 50,000 of them killed, and it got their whole area, 60% of it, 70% of it being bombed out. They're living in rubble. So I guess they won in the end in principle.
And where are the majority of black people living in? Rubble. Your women aborted 27 million of you.
No, he's talking about relative to the rest of the population.
A majority of black people, are they living in the lap of luxury?
No,
Yes.
they're not.
65% of black men are middle class under American standard. Let me say it again.
Under American standard,
65% of black men are in the middle class under American standard, which is the highest standard in the world. At least it's the
and guess
second
what?
highest.
They're not living too well under this standard in America, are they?
Yes, they are, brother.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
Who's the number one homeless? Who's the number one in prison? Who's the least educated?
I said 65%.
No. The majority.
That's the majority of us.
Majority of us are at the bottom.
65%
Not
of us
65
are
where?
making
No, we're not.
minimal.
Here's the crazy part. Here's the crazy part.
Demographic and look for
here's
yourself.
the fucked up part. When they get stuck with these draconian laws of child support and child custody, what happens to that wealth?
It drops.
It transfers
It
to the
melts.
women.
Let me
transfers
say
to the women. That's what it is.
So
Child support is a wealth transfer
here's the argument of it, right? Don't complain about the Palestinians when they got something they rather die for than to go down on bended knee. Because all I hear is this: you're making an argument. Well, we should pay and just shut up.
You're making an argument that you can't prove.
And here's the fucked up part about it, right? If black men are that high of being in the middle class, which the middle class is almost eviscerated right now
Mm-hmm.
because of inflation, because we got to really look at the terminology of middle class. And I live in the state of Maryland. Middle class 10 years ago would have been $85,000 to $125,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
You need damn near 250 to be really considered true middle class.
I lived in Chicago for many, many years. I finally left at the age of 43, and there was a slow climb in the income of middle class, but it was kind of in the same range, 80 to 90 to about 120 to 130. You better double that now, especially if you want to live inside the Magnificent Mile area or the Loop area. Man, you better be able to come out your pocket with a pretty penny. And the last time I went to Chicago, which was 2023, Jody and I drove around. Didn't see that many black folks, if at all, in the Loop living. Visiting, yes. Living, hell no.
And then here's the insanity of it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Majority of the homeowners are not black men.
Nope, they are not. They are not.
In our community.
That's by choice. That's by choice.
No, it's not by
Really?
choice.
Bullshit. Wait. Time. Let me take this. By choice, that's bullshit. And I can prove it's bullshit because I see the bullshit going on in my own damn family.
A 25-year-old man who makes $50,000 don't want to buy a house.
Yet.
Well, he can't
afford a goddamn house. He can't afford it.
$50,000 a year. Come on, man.
Okay.
He can't afford it.
So here's
no. We're gonna stop you with that bullshit now.
Wait,
you go from 1982 to now. You go to 1982 to now. $1,000 now to equal that to get $1,000 from 82 to now. You need triple the amount.
Yep.
Because that 50. See, this is the bad part where people. Hold on. Sorry. Here's the bad part where a lot of people get this middle class bullshit misconstrued. They're still going by 90s and early 2000s rates.
Yeah,
and in some
that's
cases,
25 fucking years ago at best.
Yep.
You motherfuckers are complaining about eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And you think, oh, well, black men are all middle class. How the fuck is it when you're the number one demographic that's in prison, has a record, homeless, miseducated? You can't even get, most black men are looked over for fucking jobs because they were going for how many decades for the double minority?
Again.
If it wasn't, they just recently, less than a month ago, got rid of DEI.
Mm-hmm.
That fucking suffocated black men for jobs.
All right. Well, all I'm saying, all this information is in black demographics. Feel free to look it up yourself. This thing
Black demographics.
I'm blowing out my ass.
Black demographics hasn't been updated in 5 years.
Get the fuck out of here. It hasn't updated.
Get the fuck out of here. It's not.
It has. It was just updated not too long ago.
All right, then
it hasn't been updated.
Niggas.
Marcus,
it hasn't been updated.
All right.
So
okay.
let me put it to you this way.
Again,
let me put it to you this way, right? Does the American dollar still hold the same weight that it did last year?
No.
Let me say
no,
this.
Answer the question, goddammit.
No. This is what you do.
No. Answer the goddamn question.
What you do. You draw on stuff that's not related to the topic to try to get
I'm drawing on the topic. We are on the topic. Answer the goddamn question. Does the American dollar still hold the fucking weight that it had last year? Does it hold the same weight as it did last year?
No, I ain't asking that bullshit question.
You answer the bullshit because you know you're full of bullshit.
Yeah.
Stop being a fucking woman about it and answer the goddamn shit.
No, quit being emotional with your.
Stop being. I'm not emotional because you can't answer a logical question.
An emotional.
You're full of shit and you know it. You're full of shit and you know it.
All right.
It's a very relevant question.
Hold on.
Can we be objective? Go ahead.
All right, PK, were you gonna say something?
Well, yeah, I found this whole entire back and forth kind of hilarious. because I mean, like the bottom line is that the American dollar isn't what it was worth, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and so middle class is obviously not the same as what it was 20 years ago. Period.
Mm-hmm.
So
Next.
the consideration that you make on middle class being what most black men in America make, which is anywhere in between $30,000 to $60,000, that's not middle class. Not by those same standards that
What
were
is that
used
then?
when
What
they.
is that?
That's poor.
Barely making it.
That's low.
That's
Well,
It's
that's
barely
the
making it. It's
American
walking poor.
median of